Hello everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I want to share what I believe the Assassin's Creed Mount Rushmore is. Now instead of just selecting what I believe the best 4 games of the series are, I'm going to select the 4 games I believe are the best entry points for each era of the Assassin's Creed series for brand new players and to get them hooked for life. So without further ado, let's begin. This was the toughest choice out of the first 4 games, though I recommend going straight onto the Ezio trilogy, but for me it just does not feel right to move past AC1, and I think it would be a missed opportunity to not experience Assassin's Creed 1, which is the most artistic game in the series in terms of storytelling, themes explored, and open world. I guess some downsides would be it's a 7th gen game with no remaster, so that rules out PS4 and PS5 players. The PC maintenance of the game has been abysmal recently, with players having to constantly type in a new server address, but as an Xbox player we're living good in the backwards compatibility department, just not any other department. So apart from just trying to play the game on a console, you have a game that is now 18 years old, which may be a deal breaker for some, especially the nonces out there. AC1 for me holds up in most areas. The layered story is still great, the open world might be lackluster by today's standards, with some players wanting 50 plus hours of side content to consume. In terms of gameplay, the puppeteering parkour system is still one of the best in the series, even if it's not that cinematic for people that lack skill like myself. The social stealth is quite basic, especially if you're used to the Hitman games. Combat is still satisfying, but can become quite easy once you've learnt the system. With a playthrough time of about 6 hours for the main story, there's not much of a reason to skip over AC1 unless you don't have a console that is compatible to play the game, or it's too old for the nonces. Shout out to all the nonces again. Now we move on to the Kenway era with Black Flag. I think AC3 might be a confusing entry point with the modern day storyline relying on the previous games, and I do consider Black Flag the better game anyway. Great narrative, characters, and a beautiful open world with lots of quality content. With one of the best narratives and settings to explore, it's definitely one of the top games in the series. Combat, stealth, and parkour are a bit average, but provide a satisfying enough gameplay loop. Then of course the naval combat is goated on top of that. If you're watching this well into the future and the Black Flag remake has come out, then I'd recommend checking out the original, as I imagine the remake will not be as concise and will probably be bloated with AC RPG style quests. Black Flag came out in 2013, so there are 7th and 8th gen copies of the game if that's a factor for which game you should get. Now this is the shortest era of the series, with only 2 8th gen games on this system that has assassins in built-up areas, and I would recommend Unity as it is better than Syndicate in the narrative, gameplay, and setting department, while also having a multiplayer, but Syndicate does have better game performance, which is definitely a positive. I would recommend this era if you're more into gameplay, as narrative-wise, well, what's this, Grey Knight? Assassin's Christmas? Elise! Find the piece of Aiden!
Elise, where's your bloody bathwater?
Let's just say it wouldn't be that satisfying. Now we are on to the RPG era, and I believe the best entry point for new fans is Origins. It has a simple story and one of the best protagonists of the series, so for a new fan of the series there's not much that can go wrong. It has bloated missions and open world, so that may be a deal breaker for some, but if you want a setting to lose yourself in for hours, then Origins is definitely one of the top options. Origins also has some good DLCs if you're enjoying the gameplay loop and wanting some extra content. Now that the Mount Rushmore of Assassin's Creed entry points is concluded, I guess I can recommend the best games for specific preferences in experience, as every player plays games for different reasons. Of course, the Ezio trilogy has the highest quality gameplay and level design per minute in the series, and each game either has a decent or great narrative, so this would probably be the top choice I recommend for people who only want the overall best the series has to offer. In terms of overall gameplay and level design, Brotherhood would be the best choice, although the narrative might be a little confusing as you'd be entering at the middle portion of the Ezio trilogy. If I was to select games based on niche aspects of gameplay, Shadows would be the best for stealth, EC3 the best for combat, and Brotherhood the best for parkour. The best narratives of the series that you can dive right into would be AC1 or Black Flag. I would recommend Revelations, but you need the full build up before the load is blown.
I spent ages giving head.
So basically, long story short, just start with AC1.